guys, welcome back. Today's video is a new series on my channel and I hope you guys will really enjoy it because I'm really excited about it, and that is time-saving trends. And for me, I am a busy mama. Sometimes I really need to get out the door in a hurry, and just sometimes somebody calls me last minute and wants to do something and I have no makeup on. And so this series is going to be all about tips for saving time. I will show you how I do things, though I wouldn't call it a tutorial. It's more of a demo, and just to show you how I do things. I love to use lots of color on my eyes, but sometimes I just need to get moving. And so if time-saving tips sounds like something you'd be interested in, then just keep on watching. So let's dive right into this. I did see this idea a long time ago on Emily Noel's channel. I will link her video down below, but just in general, I want to start sharing with you guys some tips and tricks that I use when I need to get moving real fast. The more I get into my journey in beauty, I've found the longer my beauty routine takes in the morning, and that's totally fine if I have time for it, but if I don't, then I need to have some tips sort of in my back pocket to get out the door. So today we're going to be talking about one shadow looks, and you can really use anything that you have in your collection, but I'm just going to give you a few tips on, ideas for shades, and then show you how I do it in the quickest fashion possible. So I do have my face makeup on, which is not something I would normally do necessarily, but this is the way we're rolling. I have everything on but eyeshadow and lips. And I do have my eyes primed with the Lorac Behind the Scenes eyeshadow primer. Yeah, anyways, that's what I have. This is my first day using it, so the verdict's out on that. But I also have set down my primer with the Hourglass powder and diffuse light. It's a nice sort of creamy white color. So first, I'm going to show you the one that I use and the most frequently for this kind of a look, and then I'll show you how I do it, and then I'll give you some other options from within my collection, but just to give you a good idea of what you're looking for. So this shadow is a ColourPop Super Shock shadow in the color Bouncy, and this is what it looks like. It has a really pretty reflect to it. It's almost kind of an oil slick shade, which is definitely my jam. And what you're going to want to use for the first step is a fluffy blending brush, big or small depending on your eye shape, but we're just going to lay this down in our crease or in our transition area and try and lift it a little bit on the outside. So we'll see how this works with this brush. So I'm just going to go in there and start buffing this in my crease. Again, I'm just need a little more shadow there. There we go. So we just buffed this shade all in the crease just to darken it up and give the eye a look of definition. If you ever are looking for a quick crease shade or a transition shade, your bronzer, if you have a bronzer, or if you're trying to use up a bronzer in your project pan, use that puppy for your crease every day. You'll help get you used up faster. Just a little tip. But again, we're just gonna build that up in the crease until we're happy, just to give a little depth to the crease and, give it that blown out look. So this is how it's looking. Pretty simple, right? So the next part, choose your own adventure. Some people would prefer to use a flat shader brush. Let's see here. For this step, if you don't like putting your fingers in eyeshadow, I don't mind, however, so I am gonna go in with my finger. And we're just gonna get on our finger and we're gonna start on the outer corner of the eyelid. And my mirror over here as always, so hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. And I'm just gonna start to spread this all over my lid. Don't worry, I will zoom you in the end or insert a picture of close-up, something like that. You see? Starting to get darker. And as you get to the middle of your eye, if you're using a shimmer shadow, which I prefer for these one shadow looks, you know, concentrate some of that color on the lid and the center of the lid rather. And that way the bulk of the shadow will be on the lid. I'm gonna grab a tissue again. I always forget something to wipe my finger off on. So you can see how this is looking. We're gonna go back in with that fluffy brush and just blend it out a little bit, especially in the crease. Diffuse it a little bit in case you got a little too much there. So that's how it's looking. I'm gonna quick do the other eye. Again, starting at the outer V. And once I get to the middle, really building that shadow up on the center of the eyelid, if I'm using a shimmer, just so that the bulk of the glow will be coming from the center of the lid, it will look brighter than the rest of the lid, and that gives some depth since you're only using one color. So maybe just a tiny more in the center. I always feel like I do better on my second eye than my first eye. I don't feel quite as much of a need to blend on this side as I did on the first side, but still good practice to go in there and blend the crease a little bit. And that's it. Let me zoom you guys in so you can see a little bit, as in pick up my phone. This is what it's looking like. So yeah. The lighting's kind of weird, so I apologize for that. It's not quite as bright outside as it has been lately, and I decided not to use my ring light for some reason. So if you still want just a tiny bit more, you can take a pencil brush or a small tapered brush and go in, and I like to do, especially if it's like a medium to deep shade, I like to do just this little bit of my lower lash line, just the outer half, and kind of connect it with that upper shadow. It gives it a more finished look, I think. And do that on the other side. And that's it. Now, if you wanted to go one step further, you could take whatever highlighter that you have that you're using on your face that day. I did not grab mine. This is the Morphe 35F, which is the Fall into Frost. This is what it looks like. This top row is all matte shades for transitions and whatnot, but the rest of the whole palette is shimmer shades, which is why I bought it. Every shimmer shade you could probably need in this palette, but let's say one of these was the highlight that I used today. I actually used the Essence Pure Nude highlighter, which I love. But if you had whatever highlighter you were going to use on your face that day, you could just go in and do, oh lordy, she's pigmented. You can just go in on the inner corner of your lid and put a little highlight on there. Again, this takes maybe an extra 15 seconds. You're doing it with your fingers, unless that's not your thing, then that's cool. And bam, now you have a two shadow look. And I think it's pretty. I really like it. So I'm gonna do mascara and lips real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about what you're looking for in a one shadow look. All right, guys, so this is what we're looking like. Did you see how fast that was? You can see I have my lips on now. Oh, nope, none of my teeth. So this lip color is by Kat Von D. I believe it's called Mother. Yeah, I have the liquid lipstick and then I have the bullet lipstick. Both of them are minis, but it was a good deal. So yeah, this is what your one or two shadow look can look like in just a couple of minutes. Do whatever you want with your face or whatever you have time for. You know, if all you have time for is, you know, a BB cream or a powder foundation, that totally works. Throw on some blush and bronzer if you have time, you know, whatever you have time for. But the eyeshadow is what usually takes me the longest. And so that's why, you know, I created this one shadow look. Like I said, you can cheat and do whatever highlighter you're going to use on your face and tap that on the inner, you know, corners to inner half of your eyes, and it just gives such depth. So what I want to show you now, what I want to show you now is some other colors and other ideas on what might work really good for this. I'm going to put my glasses on though so I can see you guys better. Whoop. But this is kind of an orangey color, and what you're looking for, I like to stick with mid-tones, and I personally like to stick with shimmers. You absolutely can do this with matte shadows. You absolutely can do this with brighter colors. I've seen some really gorgeous, like a rust orange, where you blow it out in the crease a little bit and then put it all over the lid. I think shimmer gives more dimension to the eye when you're talking about a one shadow look. So another one that I got from Ipsy is called Pop Goes the Shadow in the shade Toasted. This is by Elizabeth Mott. But again, this is a perfect example. This is, you know, this look is one reason why I actually kept this little single from Elizabeth Mott from Ipsy. It's taupey, which is a great shade. It has a bronze. It has a shift to it. For sure. Here, I'll swatch it for you guys. So you can see it has a nice shimmer to it, and that's exactly what you want, because it's gonna fade out in the crease and not even probably look shimmery, but then it's gonna pack on the lid nicely, and that shimmer is gonna give a nice definition to the eye and dimension. Like I said, you know, it's gonna look gorgeous. You're gonna love it. So another example of this would be the Sweet Peach palette. I mean, quite honestly, most of these shadows in here, except for some of the really darker ones, I wouldn't go for a one shadow look. If you want to do just a inner corner highlight or highlight the inner half of the lid with a lighter color and do a one shadow look with one of these darker ones, that works good. I love to do that with purple, where I'll put it just very softly in the crease, pack a dark purple all over my lid, like this one here is Delectable, this purple, or this purple next door here, which is Peach Pit. I always forget that. But if you pack one of these on the lid and blow it out in the crease, and then pick a lighter color like this pink or Luscious, which is this champagne color, and put that on the inner half of your lid, it's gonna look gorgeous. So this palette is kind of all what you're looking for, although who can use this palette and just use one shadow, I would like to know. And then going back to that Morphe palette, again, I purely bought this because I love shimmery eyeshadows. Shimmer, satin, metallic, whatever you want to call them. This is it. Like, these are amazing. I think this pinky purple, it's kind of like a metallic fuchsia. I'm going to show you here. Look at that. Anybody that says Morphe's eyeshadows besides the Jaclyn Hill palette and their current new releases are no good is lying to you. The proof is in the pudding. Another idea, this is kind of like that rust color that I was telling you I've seen people do a one shadow look with. And you can see it's like that rusty shimmer. That would be amazing. All over the lid, little bit buffed out in the crease, what have you. About the lightest I would go, well, maybe not. This is again a good example of one of those taupey shimmery shades. Has a nice shift. You can see it here with the natural light coming through my window. That's what your eye's gonna look like. So those are some ideas for you guys on shadows that you can use for a one shadow look. Again, a mid-tone shimmer is great. I wouldn't go too light. You know, you do you. Maybe a pink would be nice, a little bit lighter than some of these shades that I've showed you here. But yeah, in general, I try to stick to a mid-tone shimmer, and I think it works great. And the other thing that I think will really complete your look in a hurry, and just give you a more put together look, is a bold lip. Like what I did today. Again, this is the Kat Von D shade Mother, and this is the Bullet lipstick. So you can see that too. It's just a mini guy, but she's so pretty. And I like having both of them, whether I want to mess around with it or whatnot. And then two other bold shades that I like to wear with a real simple look. Not that I'm telling you can't do a bold eye and a bold lip. I will do that. That is definitely a rule I break. That was probably an upcoming video. Just kidding. I already knew that. These are the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink. Let's see. Come on. Oh, this is what they look like anyhow. White cap. These are, you know, a doe foot applicator. Whoop. But it's like the pointy style with the little dip in the middle. But these are liquid lipsticks. These are honestly not just the most comfortable liquid lipsticks from the drugstore. These are the most comfortable liquid lipsticks in my opinion, period. So I'm gonna swatch these for you real quick, just for poops and giggles, you know. Ooh. So this pink shade here, and it's very similar actually to the Kat Von D that I have on today, although this one leans a little bit more purple than pink, and I feel like the Kat Von D leans a little more pink. So the pink one is called Dreamer. Is that right? No, Lover. Goodness, I can't get my poop in a group today. So the pink is called Lover, and this red shade, which is the newer of the two to me, is called Pioneer. And this is what they look like. And you can see they're already starting to settle down matte. They do settle down matte completely, and this stuff does not budge. I literally have to take either, you know, makeup remover or something like that, or slather Vaseline on and let it set for a little bit and then, you know, try and take it off. Or my favorite trick for getting off a stubborn liquid lipstick at the end of the day, plus taking care of my lips. You've seen this before. I have a new one in my stash, but this is the e.l.f. lip exfoliator, and this is in Mint Maniac, which I am. I love minty stuff. But anyway, it's a sugar scrub in a stick form. That's what I'm trying to say. And this works great. If you can get the bulk of it off and then go in with this and, you know, scrub all over your lips, maybe let it set for a second if you can tolerate that kind of thing, and then take a tissue or whatever and just wipe it off. It scrubs your lips, it gets the rest of your liquid lipstick off, and then, you know, you can go in with whatever your favorite nighttime lip product is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Kind of a short one for me, but I just like to give you guys tips and tricks that I'm figuring out along my journey in beauty. And so if you did like this video, I hope that you'll click the like button below, subscribe if you haven't, leave me a comment, let me know if you have any shadows, singles or otherwise, that you think just work fabulously for a one shadow look. How did I do? Did you like how the look turned out? I think it's pretty gorgeous. And yeah, all of that is to say, have a great rest of your day.